This is Radio TV Phono Nut, and what you're seeing is a Califone model 1035 AV classroom record player, probably from the mid-1990s if I had to make a guess. There were several versions of this model, but all of them have some differences, and not all of them are made in the United States. This one here was made in USA, and I believe it's one of the last Califone record players that was made over here before they shifted production to China. This one here is still fairly robust. We have a metal turntable platter and metal tone arm and a 10-watt amplifier driving a 6x9 inch speaker. We have our play and pause switch here. We have controls for volume, tone, microphone volume, and variable pitch. And of course it has a microphone input, an auxiliary input, and an external speaker or headphone output. And there's our strobe for setting the proper speed. So yeah, for the mid-1990s, this truly was I believe their highest end self-contained record player, meaning that it has the speaker built into it. The only thing I really don't like about this is it uses a DC drive motor, which they all did, starting with the 1430C models in the late 1980s, and they never looked back with that. Personally, I like the older models with either the General Industries or the Alliance phono drive that consists of an AC motor. About all those ever need is taking apart and cleaning them and lubricating them. These little DC motors, they tend to wear out, but this is what we have to work with, so we'll deal with it. Now the later 1010 and 1030 and 1035 series record players from China have a plastic platter. They dropped the 16 RPM speed and simply gave you a 3-position slide switch for 33, 45, and 78. I believe the amplifier power got smaller and the speakers definitely got smaller. They went from a single 6x9 inch speaker to 2 4-inch speakers wired together. They're still not horrible record players, but they're not as good as the older Caliphones. And it's interesting to note that Califone still markets a record player. The model 1005 AV, I believe, is the model number. But you really don't want to go there because it's basically just a rebadged Crosley. It looks nothing like a traditional classroom record player. They don't even give you a headphone jack on it. Okay, now let's fire this one up and see what it does, and let's see what we need to do to it to bring it back to optimum performance. Alright, here we go. And the startup was a little slow. Volume pot scratchy. Yeah, we have a little mechanism problem. As you can see, I'm on 78 and we're not getting any platter activity. It's like the wheel's not engaging. And you can see we haven't got a lot of torque there. And nothing on 16 either. So I think a good disassembly and cleaning and lubrication is in order. Here we are with the platter removed. You can see it looks similar to some of the older drive mechanisms, except there's more plastic here and there's a DC motor where an AC motor would have been in the older ones. So we'll just treat it like we would one of the older ones. We'll clean the idler wheel with rubber renew. We'll take all this apart, clean it and lubricate it with the non-vaginal phono lube. We'll take our spindle out and clean that area and re-lubricate it with the phono lube. And that ought to about do it. Of course, we'll clean the inner rim of the turntable with regular rubbing alcohol. Okay, we have everything cleaned and lubricated, volume control sprayed with the control cleaner here. You just spray it in the opening of the control where the terminals go into the control, and then work the control back and forth a bunch of times, and that'll clean it out. This is our amplifier board. This IC here is for the motor speed control, and the audio output IC is over here somewhere. And this is our motor assembly down here and our power transformer. I think this may be from '94, but I'm not positive on that. And as you can see, they were nice enough to give a schematic diagram, which means that this unit was built with intentions of it being serviceable down the road. Not going to find that on a Crosley Cruiser, I can tell you that much. Okay, here we are on 45. Speed control. Here's 78. Get a record here. Yeah, this is interesting, trying to do it with one hand.
You got a gal you love her Sunday, then you get another for Monday.
Ain't nobody's business but my own. You say you're always home alone. How come I can't get you on the phone?
Well, that ain't nobody's business but my own. Nobody's business.
LP. Finally, a 16 RPM record.
Is a time for listening. A novel of suspense by Elliot West. Copyright 1966 by Elliot West. Recorded for the Library of Congress and the Talking Book Studios of American Foundation for the Blind, Incorporated, with the kind permission of the publishers Random House, Incorporated. Solely for the use of the blind. Read by Leon Janney. Listeners are requested to keep these talking book discs clean and in order. About the author, Elliot West was born and raised in Brooklyn, where he received his education.
Okay, with auto about to take care of it. Just a little cleaning and lubrication was all that was needed. I have an idea this record player probably hasn't been used that much, because by the time this was made, records were pretty much on their way out in schools, and in fact pretty much all they were using was older stuff that wasn't available on CD at the time. But even though something's not used that much, just having it set up unused, the old lubrication can turn to goo, and that's apparently what happened here. Alright, we're back in business, and more to come later.